Hey guys, it is Dani and welcome to this update video on the tropics. And in this video we're going to be talking about quite a bit of things. We have a tropical depression Mindy as well as Hurricane Larry, and we also have what is now Hurricane Olaf over in the Pacific, and there are 3 disturbances as well that we have to talk about. And so before I go into details, okay, so let us kickstart things with the Eastern Pacific. So as you're seeing on the 5-day outlook from the National Hurricane Center, we have Olaf that is just off the coast of the Baja California Sur, and we have that other disturbance which is highlighted in orange. So let's talk about them individually. So first up is Olaf, and as you can see on satellite, Olaf is looking quite good for a Category 1 hurricane, and the system is going to be moving away from Mexico. So there is a chance that it could strengthen a bit more, but some weakening is anticipated to begin very soon. So let's go on to the cone forecast from the National Hurricane Center. And so we're seeing here that Olaf has sustained winds of 80 miles per hour, and it is accelerating to the northwest at 9 miles per hour. So as of right now, we do have a tropical storm warning as well as a hurricane warning that is in place. So hurricane warning, which is highlighted in red, is in place for the Baja California Sur, Mexico from Los Barriles to Santa Fe, and a tropical storm warning, which is highlighted in blue, is in effect for the Baja California Sur, Mexico north of Santa Fe to Cabo San Lazaro, and Baja California Sur, Mexico north of Los Barriles to San Evaristo. So those areas can expect tropical storm or hurricane-like conditions to begin very soon, and they have already started in some sections. So some areas are probably experiencing some very heavy rainfall as well as gusty winds, and areas along the coastline are probably having some inundation as a result of the storm surge. So if you're to be affected by Olaf, please take necessary precautions and stay safe. But fortunately, the hurricane is not expected to strengthen much more and become something very major. And so that disturbance, which is highlighted in orange, is given a 60% chance to develop. So we're expecting that a low pressure area will be developing in that region, and so it will have a near to high chance for development. And if we're going to be having favorable conditions being persistent, then that chance is going to be increasing as time goes by. Fortunately, it's looking as though that disturbance is going to be moving parallel to the coast of Mexico, somewhat following the track of Olaf. And so now let's go on over into the Atlantic Basin. And so we have tropical depression Mindy, Hurricane Larry, and then 2 disturbances over here to talk about. So let's start things with Mindy. Alright, so as of right now, Mindy is a depression that is accelerating into the North Atlantic, and it was a tropical storm briefly before making its way inland, bringing some dangerous conditions to portions of Florida. So some areas probably experienced some very heavy rainfall as well as some gusty winds, and there's also the possibility of that flooding. So I hope that things were not too bad there, but now we have the depression being out in the Atlantic, and so it is going to be accelerating to the east-northeast, and right now it is doing so at 21 miles per hour, and it has sustained winds of 35 miles per hour. So it is forecast to dissipate by tomorrow, and so nothing much is there that is left of Mindy. And looking at the satellite imagery, we just have some spots of shower and thunderstorm activity, but nothing much really going on. So Mindy is no longer a threat. And so now let's go on to Larry. And so let's look at the satellite imagery of it, and we're seeing here that Larry is a powerful hurricane still out there in the Atlantic, and it is affecting Bermuda right now, and it is likely that we're going to be having gradual weakening of the hurricane as time goes by. So it is currently a Category 1 with winds of around 90 miles per hour, and it is accelerating to the northwest at 17 miles per hour. So as of right now, Bermuda is under a tropical storm warning still, but that is likely to be discontinued probably by later today or so. And so we do have a hurricane watch as well as a tropical storm watch that is in effect for some areas. And so as of right now, there is a tropical storm watch as well as a hurricane watch that is in place for portions of southeastern Newfoundland. So those areas can expect tropical storm or hurricane-like conditions late tomorrow. But the good news is that Larry is going to be accelerating to the north very quickly, so it is not going to be bringing those conditions for a very long time, and it is forecast to become post-tropical by Saturday morning, and it is likely to dissipate when it is at the southern portion of Greenland, guys. So fortunately, Larry is just going to be lingering up there, and it won't be bringing some very major impacts. But nevertheless, if you're under that tropical storm watch or hurricane watch. Please take necessary precautions and stay safe. And so now let's go on to our two disturbances. So we have one that is currently located in the Caribbean, and that disturbance is given a 30% chance to potentially develop into a tropical cyclone, and it is going to be making its way over Central America and emerging into the Bay of Campeche, and that is where we could have some development taking place. So development isn't imminently expected, the reason being because it is going to be making its way over land, and land interaction is a huge inhibiting factor when it comes on to tropical cyclone development. So once it emerges into those warm ocean waters and other conditions such as the wind shear being conducive, then we're going to be most likely having some development taking place. And so the longer this system has over those warm ocean waters, the stronger it is likely to become. So if you're in portions of Mexico, and I would say even Texas, you want to keep an eye on this, because it is possible that maybe early in the new week we could have some development of this disturbance taking place. And also, if you're in portions of Central America such as Honduras, Guatemala, and even portions of Mexico, you're likely to experience some heavy rainfall as a result of this disturbance, as this is going to be making its way by. And so now let's go on to our other disturbance that is yet to emerge off the coast of Africa. So this disturbance is expected to emerge probably by Saturday, and it already has such a high chance to develop. Well, technically the chance is medium right now. It is at 60%, but we are seeing a gradual increase, and it will likely be considered a high chance probably by later today or tomorrow. So just when it makes its way off the coast of Africa into the warm ocean waters of the Atlantic, then it is likely that we will start to see development of this disturbance, because conditions are expected to be conducive to support this system becoming a tropical cyclone, and it is seeming as though it is likely to be staying out in the open waters, which is some good news. But if you're on the Cabo Verde Islands, you might experience some inclement weather as a result of the disturbance, when it is going to be making its way by probably by this weekend or early next week. So we want to keep an eye on that. But as of right now, it is definitely possible that we will have development. And that said, tomorrow is going to be the peak of the hurricane season, or the day which marks the peak of the hurricane season, which is the 10th of September. So usually September is where we see most tropical cyclone activity, but things are not very active since the start of the month. But of course, as we head into later in the month, going into next month, then we could see quite a bit of activity taking place. And the next two names to be used for this hurricane season are NICHOLAS and Odette. So we could have both of the disturbances developing and becoming named storms, and if they do, whichever one develops first will acquire the name NICHOLAS. And so guys, that is really it for this update on the tropics. If you found this video to be quite informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can also share your thoughts with me in the comments or as a question. I will try to respond as best and as soon as I can. And just remember to always be weatherwise, and of course I will keep you updated as time goes by.